Hello everybody, Tina here, and today I'm going to share with you a very important message, a message and a teaching that actually a lot of people may not be ready to hear, but I want to plant the seed within them to really get them thinking about this. This before you is the drama triangle. This is not something I invented. This is something you can actually just go have a Google about if you want to learn more about. But I'm bringing it more into a spiritual context here with you today. This is something my Reiki teacher provided for me that I found hugely beneficial, so I'm providing it to other people. Now, today we're only talking about one aspect of this triangle, which is the persecutor. Sometimes we can also call this the judge. And it is an archetype that is going rampant right now. So I think it's important to talk about. Now, this is a part of a training that I do for all of my students that goes really in depth into what the ego is, how it plays a role in our spirituality, in our daily lives, and in our healing journeys. So this is, like I said, is a small segment of a larger class that I provide for all of my students. But like I said, today we are focusing on the persecutor or the judge. So if you're not familiar with this drama triangle, this is something that all humans find themselves on every now and again. And unfortunately, it keeps us in a really low vibration. Once you've stepped on the triangle as one of these archetypes, as one of these roles, then you're ping-ponging between the three. And like I said, it keeps you in sort of your egoic mind and a lower vibration and disconnects you from your true spiritual self. So that's why it is so important to talk about. Like I said, we're only going to talk about the judge or the persecutor right now because it's something that's just totally rampant and that we need to talk about. We need to talk about in a spiritual community. So as a spiritual soul, our goal is self-mastery. And unfortunately, when we're playing the judge or the persecutor, I can't say that word today, we are practicing mastery over others and are lacking deep self-reflection. So the qualities that the judge or the persecutor would convey is obviously judgment over others, what is right and wrong. But the deeper problem here is that the judge often seeks to find somebody else to blame that is outside of themselves. I am this way because of your actions, or I wouldn't have had to behave this way if it wasn't for you. So there is victim blaming here. There's pointing fingers, right? And there is a lack of looking within ourselves for that self-mastery. And it's paired with intimidation factors, and not really in a compassionate sort of constructive way. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot, and before I go on, the judge often puts themselves on the pedestal, right? I am right, you're wrong, we're in this situation because of your actions. And again, it's finger pointing, it's judging, and there's no gray matter, right? White and black, no right or wrong, this is right, it's not up for debate, right? That's what we hear so often right now, it's not up for debate. When that is just, again, it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of egoic self, not true self. And it's coming from a place of lack of self-mastery and trying to get the self-mastery somehow of mastering other people. And that just doesn't work. It has to come from within. But this is not to say that you're not allowed to challenge other people. You're not allowed to share your viewpoint. You're absolutely allowed to do that. That is a vital and important thing. But there's a more productive way to do this, right? You can absolutely have your opinions and share them and challenge other people's beliefs. And that's what you need to do if you find yourself in the judgment position, in the persecutor position. You become the challenger. And it's even okay to be a little assertive about it. But it's coming from a place of compassion, co-creation, and creativity versus I'm in this situation because of you, right? So there's a different feeling to it. It's not coming from intimidation. It's coming from compassion, which is a totally different energy. So it's absolutely okay to challenge people, but I'd encourage you to figure yourself out first. Look within. See how you're really feeling on the topic. What are your triggers? What is the situation mirroring to you? What can you learn within yourself before you challenge other people, right? Really go within before you step into that challenger position. I think that's pretty fair advice for anything. But yes, like I said, absolutely okay to share your opinions. Think about it as a healthy debate. It's fine. It's okay to have a little healthy debate. But, you know, it can't be attached to imitate intimidation and fear. And I'll tell you why that doesn't work, right? Because when we come into the place of enforcement and pushing and intimidation, and I'm going to change your way of believing off of a fear-based mentality, that usually doesn't fly over very well with the other person, and the other person tends to shut down. They're not going to listen to you, and they might even build a little resentment, right? That's a pretty common reaction to force on force. The other person feels like they need to push back equally, right? This goes nowhere. This ends up right here at a deadlock. So instead, become that challenger, but challenge from a place of compassion, co-creation, and creativity. Find ways to creatively express yourself from a compassionate heart. And this is another aspect that people are missing here. Compassion. If there's something you don't understand, whether it's a belief or, you know, you don't understand why you're judging somebody else for their belief, take that into the heart chakra and just sit with it and see if you can't find more compassion, more space around the subject, unconditional love for something you don't understand, and realize that is a beautiful process to go through, which is going to be the catalyst for such a deep spiritual growth and high vibrational energy. So again, totally okay to challenge people. And remember, just because someone doesn't catch on to something right away, you've planted seeds and it might be post-dated. I always say that with Reiki. Sometimes the work is post-dated. They might catch on a little bit later, but you've planted the seed now. So there's a little snippet. I think we can see, you know, a lot of this in the world here today on the judge and the persecutor. But if we came to things with the challenger mindset and compassion mindset and creative and co-creative energy, we're going to get so much further than the intimidation, the fear, and the judgment. Okay. So, and if you find yourself being the judge, it's okay. That's okay. We all step on this triangle every now and again. Have the self-realization of that's what you're doing. You're like, okay, I'm playing the persecutor. I'm going to step off and I'm going to find a way to be the challenger. That's okay. And if you see this in somebody else, that's okay too. And have compassion, because they're going through a really difficult egoic aspect right now. And they are struggling with being the judge. And they're learning a deep spiritual lesson from being the judge. So, you know, they're going through a learning period. You're going through a learning period. There might be friction, but you both are growing. And that is a beautiful thing. If you want more of this type of information, I'd deeply encourage you to join one of my programs. Of course, my Reiki Level 1 program is such a popular program because it is so transformational for self. I have one coming up here in August. If that's something you're interested, reach out. But again, this is going to be also available for the people who are coming into the heart-based chakra work. My test pilot program. I don't quite have a name for it yet. I'm thinking just, you know, transcendence through the heart chakra, something like that. So that is a pilot program that I'm looking for testers to go through the program with me and give me feedback. If that's something you're interested in, let me know too. But like I said, Reiki Level 1, so transformational. Do yourself a favor and get this spiritual education. I love you all so, so much, and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye-bye.